I just realized that I was muted. Yay! So welcome, welcome. My name is Joy Harold Goff. I'm the Executive Director of Bump the Triangle, and we are celebrating Black Music Month. This is our 5th live stream event in celebration of Black Music Month, and you are in for a treat. Our mission is to foster excellence in agency and youth using the cultural assets of African diasporic music, and we offer youth enrichment programming, instrumental and vocal ensembles that build musical proficiency, cultural literacy, and resilience, heritage knowledge. So today's conversation is with some very special guests, some amazing, amazing visual artists who have submitted works that we are going to be auctioning. The auction is live now at bit.ly/bump auction. You can go there and see all of this work, but today you get a chance to meet the artists and hear a little bit about their work. I'm really excited about this conversation. I would just like to tell you, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and start a watch party and share this event so others can be in on the conversation. And you can also find us on our YouTube live channel or right here on Facebook. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Malcolm Goff, who is going to host us this evening and introduce our other artists to talk about their works. Malcolm Goff is an amazing artist. He is also one of the artists that we are featuring in our auction. I wanted to say, because we're talking about art, our visual art auction, because we're a music organization, but it all works hand in hand. So without further ado, I'm going to give him the headset. Here's Malcolm Goff.
All right. Thank you. Great to be here. I'm in Joy's music studio right now, but brought some art to show you. So we have a really cool lineup for you. And like Joy said, if you are watching on Facebook, go ahead and share it as a watch party. So maybe your folks will be able to come in as well. And let me see. So first up to bat is somebody who I caught when she was born. And so it's my daughter, Sada Goff, and she is going first because she's got a college class to go to. She's doing summer courses and everything. She is a fine arts and animation major at UNC Asheville and Black Studies minor, or whatever they're calling it at UNC Asheville, Africana Studies. And so she's right here. You ready, Sada? Oh, wait, oops. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Cool. So, hey, Sada, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Good. I like your hair. So did I miss anything? Is there anything you'd like to add to the information about yourself?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Cool. So let's see here. Let me, can you tell people, as I'm pulling up the first picture, which I'll make the primary dance, okay? You want to talk about that one a little bit?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I thought, okay. So I made this piece for my portfolio when I was applying for college. And it's a silk screen on lino cut.
Nope. It's just a lino cut.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, no silk screen.
And it is based off of my many years of dance. I'm an African dancer, and I really just wanted to use the primary colors to showcase beautiful Black dancers, and we're the original first dancers with the primary color.
Excellent. Okay, cool. And it says the starting bid is $75, and I got to say that is a really good price, because there's only 6 of those that you made in that series. So cool. All right. So And I want to go ahead and thank Matt ahead of time here. We'll thank you again at the end too. And I'll just let you know which pieces are coming up. All right, so next let's take a look at the tribe. So I know this is a piece that you were paying homage to our wonderful hip hop artist. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was paying homage to Tribe Called Quest because they are one of my favorite groups. And you and mommy raised me on them. And when I made this, I was just really, I was just drawing off of the cover from one of their albums. And yeah, I had a lot of fun making it.
You made a little different pose though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And before we go to the next one, which will be the Nina Simone piece, can you talk about just like digital, how that works, like when you're making digital art?
Yeah. So for this one, and actually for all of my digital art, I draw it in my sketchbook first, and then I take a picture of it. So I'm drawing in my sketchbook, looking at, pictures and references that I want to put into the art. And then I take a picture of it and transfer it to my iPad. And then I draw and look at it based off of that.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go to Nina Simone next. What were you thinking about when you worked on the Nina piece?
Nina Simone she's one of my favorite singers, like of all time. I think she has like the most range of anybody. I looked that up when I was making this.
She was scary smart.
Yeah, I just love everything that she stands for, and I think that she really embodies for me the beliefs that I hold dear to me. And so, yeah, I wanted to make a piece that paid homage to her, and I put in the background sort of like a stained glass look to it. Yeah.
Nice. Like almost like a halo.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like Saint Nina.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, you got to get some kind of place somewhere that's got to do that as a stained glass. There you go. All right, cool. Well, thank you, Assata. I know you got to go do the college class thing. Is there anything you want to say on your way out?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, we appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you too. Thank you.
All right. Love you.
Love you.
Bye-bye. Everybody else, I'm not going to be saying love you when you're leaving, though, okay? That's my daughter, okay? All right, cool. So next, this brother right here, Stephen M. Cozart, is just beast mode of art and illustration. Just recently had some great shows. I know one was right here in Durham over at the Center for Documentary Studies. So, okay, Joy's showing me something. All right, so he's going to share a little bit about his process and what moves him. And we're going to show it. I see on here, there was a question of where can we purchase? Well, you're going to go to, do we have that up, Matt? Can you put up, it's bit.ly/bump auction. And that's where all of these pieces are being auctioned right now at great starting bid prices. I hope they go up to prices that everybody can afford and that you're all doing really well. But there you go. There it is right there. So you can bid on all of these there. And we haven't put it on the site yet, though, but we wanted to say that we are going to accept, like, if you need to wait for payday and you want to, Stephen's piece ends up being like a couple $100 or something, and you're like, oh, I want to bid, but I can't make that work right now with my budget. that's okay, because we'll put the directions up there or the rules around, you know, how you would make payments on it. Okay, so don't let that stop you. Great art should be in your hands. All right, so brother Stephen M. Cozart, tell us a little bit about your process and just who you are as an artist.
How's everybody doing? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, definitely. Well, too.
Cool.
Nice setup.
So I've been working on a body of work since about 2013. Started off dealing with colorism, the kind of a caste system in the African American community based on skin tone, and that's been going on now, like I said, for the last about 7-8 years. I do interviews with friends, family members, and other people who have had conversations with me. Off of that, that's my resource imagery. And I listen to what they have to say, take photos, pull stills from my interviews, and I make work from that. In the last, say, 2-3 years, I've noticed a trend in conversation with men and with women.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I want to really focus on women because there's been a conversation about hair.
Oh, nice. That's important.
So talking to my daughter, talking to my wife, there's been conversations about their choices about deciding to go natural. Apparently, there's different grades of natural hair, and sometimes that sets up this little subset. I just want to talk about it, make work about it. Trying to be careful, since I'm not a woman, I wouldn't dare speak for one, but I do want to make sure I get that work out there.
Mm-hmm. And there's definitely that piece of your work, and your body of work. Would you consider yourself to be a documentarian, even though you're not a photographer or a videographer?
A little bit. Very, very amateur, still learning a lot about shooting video, about how to record conversation, that sort of thing. But yeah, I would.
Cool. Yeah, I thought so. All right, let's see. Can we get that piece up on the screen there? Yeah. So this is Pencil Test, right? Her natural crown, number 1. Can you tell us about that a little bit? Like Pencil Test, like what does that mean?
So when I started making the work, started having exhibitions, I actually was contacted by other artists. There was a young lady out in California working on a master's who just wanted to talk to me. We ended up talking for a few hours, and she kind of, pulled my coat on the pencil test. And I was like, I never heard of it. So as soon as she described it, I was like, okay, I get it. So the idea is that if you put a pencil in a Black woman's hair, it's quote unquote good hair.
Oh.
If it falls out of the hair because it's so straight, and if it stays there, it's not considered a good grade of hair, that sort of thing. I think don't quote me on this, but I'm fairly certain it's a thing that was in South Africa in particular, but we get it here too.
Right.
And so that entire conversation started me thinking about things that my daughter had said, things that my wife had said, conversations that had come up in the interviews with women in particular, and started working on pieces about it. This is actually a study for what's going to be a painting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. It's funny because I thought that when it was Pencil Test was part of your artistic process, in that like maybe you were doing the study small first, and that's what was considered a pencil test. Because I know like in animation, there's a thing called pencil test, or something like that, where it's like a rough cut before you add all the color and everything, almost when it's still in like flip book type of animation mode. So I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah. And then the other thing I found myself gravitating towards, I don't know, I'm assuming it's on purpose, even though it seems to be more of a subconscious. I found myself coming back to symbols for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Christianity, that's what the crown is for.
Okay.
The idea of the crown of thorns for Jesus was that it was kind of to mock him. So I keep getting these stories from these young ladies, older women who decided to go natural, and this blowback that they got, especially in America, about cutting their hair, about wearing their hair in its natural state. And there was a blowback within the community about that choice. And so it's, you know, when you decide there's a specific time, it's changing, which is a good thing. But there was a time when you decided to do that,
Mhm.
you were going to take some hits. People are going to make some comments and question your choices.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. Man, this is powerful. Hey, one more thing before you head out. I know you've got the piece nearby you right now, right?
Yeah.
Could we take a look at it real quick, just so people can see like the size of it and everything? And one thing I really like about art at that size is, as someone who's probably paid thousands of dollars over the years in terms of framing art, right? The nice thing about that size is that frame's not going to run you very much. If you want to, you should definitely put it in a frame to keep it up in the wall in your house. But, that's a nice size right there. Can you bring it a little bit closer too, so people, I know, because the way you lay on your colors and everything is really rich. Yeah, that's not even doing it justice though. But okay, because I could tell even in the other photo how, like, maybe if you could make it kind of go like this so that the light will come off of it. Because I know the way you add that gesso and everything, it gets like really nice light hitting it, and it just gives it these undertones that pop through. So very nice. All right, cool, cool. Thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, and so yeah, you guys can go bid on that at bit.ly /bump auction. And do you have anything coming up that people need to know about?
Actually, I do. I actually am coming up to Durham on Sunday to drop off work at the Durham Art Guild. So I've got an exhibition there that'll be up for the month of July. It's been explained to me because of, quarantine and that sort of thing. There's going to be like an appointment. You can make appointments to see the work. We're talking about doing a virtual opening or reception, which would be similar to this on like an online format. Right after that work is going to be then sent to Winston-Salem, and I'm going to be part of a show called Drawn at SECA, the Southeastern Center for Contemporary Art in Winston.
Excellent. Oh yeah, I love that museum. Okay. Cool, cool. Thank you. All right, brother.
Appreciate y'all having me, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
You too, man.
All right. Cool. All right. So let me look here. No. All right. We're going to go with Anthony next. All right. So this is Anthony Patterson. And although, I don't know him as long as I know my daughter, or maybe it has been the same amount of time, but I didn't meet you till you were 5 years old, sitting in my kindergarten art class. And I think it was probably the second or third art class that you were in where I just said to myself, who is this kid? And he would just rock everything. And so, having some experience as an art teacher, I was like waiting for it to be like, all right, well, which project is he going to struggle with? And honestly, I don't remember you really struggling in the way that, sometimes kids struggle just because a lot of kids just don't want to meet the challenge, but you always wanted to meet the challenge from kindergarten up through 5th grade. And I followed you ever since, just keeping in touch with you and your family, middle school and high school and on through college. And now as a professional artist out here in the world. So, man, I really appreciate you. I don't know if there was something else you wanted me to say.
Oh man.
Interject.
Yeah, you are extended family, so I appreciate you and I love you, man.
Thank you. Love you too, man. You guys are definitely like extended family. Yeah.
So yeah, for folks that don't know, again, my name is Anthony Patterson. I am a documentary artist, which is a new title that I am giving myself over the past couple of months. right now I am a emerging documentary artist under the Documentary Diversity Project at Duke University's Center for Documentary Studies. So it's a lot of different wordings in there, but I'm a documentary artist. I paint, I'm a photographer. I teach on a lot of things. I do workshops. I curate. I even do public speaking events. So I do a lot as an artist. And the work that I have to go on auction is early work, and early meaning like only 5 years ago. So
Okay.
it's not like
You were still in college at that point.
yeah. And surprisingly, I made these paintings before I took an oil painting class. So like I remember I showed my painting teacher this work, and she was like, "Oh yeah, whatever, right?" And then she kind of brushed it off, and then I was like, "Okay." So then when I actually learned how to have some structure to painting, like learning all of these different techniques and how to properly mix paint, I just got hooked on that. And these works that we're about to talk about are a part of that period right before that.
Okay, and these are acrylic or oil, or are they some of each?
They're acrylic.
Okay, I guess that's the thing that kind of threw me for a loop too, because the color quality and the way you were able to blend and get these different features of it, it really looks like, you know, I could see why you were moving into oil at that point. So cool. So they are acrylic, but honestly, you know, I can see that feature of them where, you know, you're going towards oil. So which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with, since it's Black Music Month, let's go with the Questlove piece.
Okay, so Questlove.
Yeah, this painting I did back in 2015, and I was like, man, I really like Questlove because one of his nicknames is like the human NPC. Like the way that he drums is like, I mean, he's like dealing with drumsticks. You know, he's like that ill with it. So
And
I highly respect it.
people who might not know, he's the drummer for The Roots.
Yeah.
Just has done a ton of projects. The Roots is the standing band for one of those comedy night shows. I forget which one.
Jimmy Fallon. Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon. Yes. So you can see Questlove probably 5 nights of the week on Jimmy Fallon's show.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. And if I remember right, you said that he actually he liked the piece a lot. He ended up seeing it.
Yeah, so I had a lot of I posted it on Instagram, and I had a lot of my friends just like tag him on Instagram, and it was close to 100 comments with his name on there. So then he took notice and he commented his name, and I was like, oh, like,
I see it. Yeah. Man, the color is so rich there. The depth that you get with the field of vision there. So okay, cool. Thank you. All right. Where do you want to go next?
Let's go with well, hold on. Well, I want to show people the actual painting.
Oh, right. Yeah. So this is the Questlove piece. You can kind of see the size of it there. And it is a stretch canvas, which to you as a collector means that you don't have to spend any extra money getting it framed because it is ready to hang on your wall as a collector. And it's very strong. If you've never bought a piece of stretched art before, they hang easily. They keep their integrity and structure, you know, for centuries. You know, you could pass this down to your grandchildren. So, all right, cool. Hey, now while you got it up, can you kind of shimmy it in the light a little bit so that people can see the colors?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Nice, nice.
So I signed it on the front and on the back, so you know that it's all signed.
Okay. It's an Anthony Patterson original. Original. All right.
Oh yeah.
All right. Thank you. Okay. You want to go to Daydreaming next?
Yep, which is
Okay.
this one.
Excellent.
So this painting is the same size as the Questlove piece. It's 16 by 20 on canvas. It's acrylic. And as you can see, there's a ton of layers on here. Even some of the paint even sticks out. So
Okay.
yeah, lots and lots of layers.
Okay.
My inspiration for this piece was I would sit and watch my niece and nephew, and just the things that they would just create during that time period. I was so fascinated with their creativity, and it made me think about, as I was growing older, how many adults around me always said, well, I used to draw when I was little. And I'm like, you can still draw, just keep your creativity alive. You can do something creative, because that keeps the world going around. So this one is just, I kind of thought about sometimes when I would be in middle school or high school and I would get bored in a lecture and then I would just doodle. So Daydreaming is reminiscent on like all of these creative ideas that I got going on while doing something that I'm not particularly interested in, because I would rather be drawing or painting or doing something like that. And it was inspired by creativity of children. So it has a couple of different meanings.
Right, right. Yeah. Daydreaming is so important. And just, you find yourself bored and so many creative things happen when you're bored. I think that's one thing as parents, we got to remember that how to respond to children when they say they're bored, because a lot of times I think we have this reaction of being like, that's a bad thing, or the kids think it's a bad thing. We got to help them get through. I mean, I'm teaching middle school now and I still get kids who, they kind of have this excuse of like, well, I'm bored. And I'm like, well, you got to figure out what to do about that, because that's actually when you're going to be your most creative, is when you're bored and you're figuring out how to come out of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually when you're bored, you just haven't figured out what to do.
Maybe write a movie. The Next American Novel. Great masterpiece paintings and songs and all that. Okay, so we got one more piece in the auction from you. It's the A Child's Imagination, kind of sticking with that same theme of children, right? And moving through their lives and their mental health and everything.
Mm-hmm. One of the first things that I love about this painting is that when I first painted it, it reminded me of my niece. When I painted it, even though she wasn't around, but I still was like, my niece is an artist as well, and she's continuing. Like, so I have my artistic gift from my dad, and my mom also is very creative as well. So this creativity, artistic gene is getting passed down through the generations. And so one of the things that I really like about this one is I didn't complete all of the crayons in the bottom. So I did that because I remember someone in our art building at school had wrote on the wall, broken crayons still color. And so I was thinking, like, just it was one of those things where you just think about, like, no matter what you got, you can still be creative. You can still produce. You don't have to have everything together at one time. You can take little bits and pieces and continue to move forward in your life. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of took that, as well as, blended it in and trying to create a mini series or this continuation of imagination and creativity with children and creativity with, like, as you get older. So this was one of those things that I really enjoyed painting, especially that really bright violet at the top of the forehead. Like, I really love that.
Yeah, that's important. Okay. Cool. And the could you show the original real quick, just so people
Yes.
can get a feel for it? Okay. Cool. I love
Yep.
how she's just so excited in that
Yes.
depth of vision there, you know, with her hand coming forward. She's got that youthful exuberance, excitement.
Yeah.
It's excellent. Okay, cool. And before we let you go and we go to Allison next, do you have any upcoming shows and things like that that you want to let people know about?
Nothing right now in the works. I am working on a film project, and as well as trying to develop some photos from the Black Lives Matter murals in downtown Durham. So just some photo work, as well as going to work on a couple of commissions. So nothing really big, just trying to make it on through in the age of the Rona, you know?
Yes, and be safe, man. Be safe.
Yeah, gotta stay masked up out here.
Yeah. Let me know if you need any more too. And then also too, before you go, and just so people know, I don't know if you saw in the announcement right there in the comments that a lot of times nonprofit organizations will have these art auctions and they just expect artists to give their work. And, you know, I guess I always kind of felt that was a little bit annoying. So what we're doing with Bump is we're doing it a little differently. We're splitting the profit with the artists, and making it so that, you know, they're benefiting, they got bills to pay too. And so, and then a piece of it goes to Bump as well. You know, like we got to pay for different things with it, but, you know, we felt like that would be fair, you know, living wages for people, you know, it's important. So support us, you know, artists, and also the nonprofit, because we're doing good work. All right.
Indeed.
Gotta plug it in. All right. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
Catch you later, man.
All right. I'll check in later.
All right. Say hey to the fam. All right. And next up, we have Sister Allison Hamilton, who was I don't know, I think I was a senior, and were you a freshman?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So we went to college together though, and we were in that art department, and you got to benefit from the new building that I only got to have it for 1 year, but you ended up having that nice building for your whole time, huh?
A little bit, but I was an art minor. So that was a whole, you know, I was in the business building. I was a business major. So the art was secondary. So I didn't get to spend as much time as I would like.
Oh, okay. You still probably got to spend more time in that state of the art building than me,
Yeah.
but
A little bit.
But cool. All right. We'll have to catch up sometime on like how like the relationship between art and business. I bet you that's been kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So and thank you for blessing us with a piece in here. You want to talk a little bit about your process and inspiration?
Okay. All right. So with regards to this piece, usually my art is basically portraits, and I do a lot of Black women. I do some Black men, but I do drawing, painting. I just got into quilling not too long ago. And so basically my main jam is portraits, but I also do an abstract, I guess, piece.
Mm-hmm. It's like very style and design is very much what you're pulling out of it, right?
Correct. And I actually was taught that technique from my mom. So my mom is an art teacher. She teaches English and she teaches art. And so she teaches on a college level. And so basically the technique is called Zentangle, which is really like a meditative kind of art tech practice.
Uh-huh.
And, it really, there's a whole process behind it that she teaches and that goes along with the program. And basically you meditate, you kind of get into a Zen state and you do these patterns. And so she taught me that. However, I don't get into like a, Om kind of state. But I do, when I created this piece, Fluid Syncopation, it was kind of, I was just kind of chilling and just, I had this large canvas and I was like, oh my God, I want to do something really nice. And so I actually just kind of, zoned out. I usually have some music on or whatever going. And then, I kind of just figure out, the idea behind Zentangle is that it's kind of like life. You kind of figure it out as you're going along. And there's no such thing as mistakes. So what you think is a mistake is actually not a mistake. It's actually part of your life. And so just like in life, you go left sometimes, you maybe shouldn't have went that way, but it leads you somewhere else. And so that kind of fluidity is what influenced that piece. Yeah. And so
can we put it up on the screen while she's talking about it? All right, cool.
Yeah, so it's a large piece. It's 24 by 48 and it's stretched. It's on stretched canvas. And basically I have oil, pens, paint. That's, I use a small paintbrush for some of those pieces, but it's basically, I have patterns that I kind of am drawn to. And then there's some patterns that kind of just come out of, just imagination. And so that how that piece came to be.
Yeah, the rhythm of it is really nice. Like you said in the title, it's very fluid and syncopated, right? But it's I mean, just I'm looking at it and just kind of getting lost in all of the rhythm of the dots, the angles, the positive and negative space of it. Just it's awesome. The contrast.
And you can hang it, it can be hung in different ways. It can be hung horizontally. It can be hung vertically. It's really flow with you. So it's not necessarily, it doesn't need to sit in this way. It can be flipped around. It just.
Right. When I first saw it too, I was looking at it vertically instead of horizontally. And I was like, ooh, that's cool. Cause sometimes, you might have like an odd little section of wall next to the window, between the window and the corner, and it could fit there.
Right. Yeah. And so that's how, I've hung it up vertically. I've signed it on the bottom right or closer to the bottom right, but it can very well go in any kind of direction. So
yeah, that's true, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, and do you have any upcoming things online or in your neck of the woods that people need to know about?
So, I mean, that, folks can follow me on Instagram at Allie Mo's Edge. And I'm sure I'll be, I've been linked in your promos for this. And I'm working on actually a few different projects. I'm working on an illustration of, a children's illustration book with a friend who is actually, he teaches meditation, he teaches mindfulness. And so we've collabed on a children's book that will be coming out soon. And so we're working on actually 2 books for that. And also I'm working on a special project book for young women, young ladies of between the ages of 13 and 18. And and then just doing my art, just, I work full time, but I also spend a lot of time just creating. And so I've gotten into iPad Pro, into Procreate. So I'm kind of getting lost in the sauce on that. And so I'm really, just creating. That's all.
Yeah. I got look. I got my Pro right here. It's the first generation.
Yeah.
And it's starting to get a little wonky because they don't make stuff to last anymore. But I've had it for like 5 years now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I think the newer ones are gonna last longer, but you know.
I hope so, because I got mine 2 weeks ago. So I hope.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta upgrade at some point soon. But great. Okay, we gotta talk about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, and some of the stuff that I have in the auction here, actually, I did on that too. I'll make sure to talk about that.
Okay, awesome.
All right, cool, cool. Well, thank you, Allison.
Thank you.
Ali Mo's Edge on Instagram.
Yeah.
All right, all right. We'll see you later. So I got a question here for Eric. You and I are the last ones. Do you want to go next, or you want me to go? Wait. Oh, we got to bring you into the stream there.
Let's see. There we go.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Definitely. Yep.
Hello, sir.
Oh, wait. Now it sounds kind of going out a little bit. Okay. So where do you want to go next?
Yeah, far away. Let's go.
All right. Cool. Cool. All right. So let me see. I know I've been kind of following your work from afar as an artist, you know, one city over from you. You're based in Raleigh, and I'm based in Durham. And but I've always I liked the rhythms that you're able to get and just the energy. And I also have been always kind of like enamored, you know, and like your hustle is excellent, and how you're able to, you know, get the following and meet the audience and everything. So you want to talk a little bit about your process there?
Well, as a painter, most of my work is about sensuality. I'm a firm believer that art should be something that reaches out and connects with other people on an emotional and spiritual level. So when I create a work of art, whether representational or abstract, I try to get to the core of the subject, to the essence of it, to a certain amount of sensuality and strength. So when I'm painting, I pour myself into a piece of work. I kind of empty myself of images, and the works that I produce, regardless of style or subject matter, I always try to paint it with a sincerity. And as a professional working artist and art educator, I really take my career very seriously. I think some artists take themselves too seriously, but I take the work seriously, and I take my endeavor quite seriously. So the energy goes in the direction of where I want to be. I want to create great things. I want to impact people. I want it to connect with other people. So I take it off of myself, per se, from the aspect of just purely satisfying myself. It's a reciprocal relationship with the viewer. So I'm creating something to satisfy me, and I want it at the same time to have an impact on other people as well. It's not just simply about, oh, well, I liked it and nobody else, it didn't matter anybody else. Right. It has to, for me, the art has to, it's like cooking. I mean, think about it. If you cooked a meal that only you like everybody thought your food was atrocious, but you know, I mean, and you run in a restaurant.
I know exactly. Yeah. Cause actually I run into that cooking here at the house. That, you know, I'm the one who's got the heat, and nobody else wants my level of heat that I want. Right. As the chef, I tone it down for them. And then for my own bowl, I'm putting in more black pepper. I'm putting in more hot sauce. I'm putting in, you know, more banana peppers or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
for me, it's that back and forth play. You know, people say, well, what's the piece of artwork about? And my response is, what are you about? So I feel like I'm making images and things that impact other people, and I give them permission to find their story in my art. It's not like we're doing calculus where if you get the answer wrong, you get the red check, like wrong. In my case, like, here's the box, and you fill the box in with your narrative and your story. So I make work, and I just put it out into the world and let it just have a life of its own. And I'm amazed how the work how people are impacted and their lives are transformed. I've had people look at my work, and I had one lady, I did a painting years ago, and she saw the piece and she said, Eric, when I saw that piece, you brought my mother back to life. Now,
Wow.
what do you do with that? What do you do with that? What do you do with that? I mean, I didn't know her mother, but it was something in that piece. So that's an example of what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Uplifting,
yeah,
enriching, blessing other people through my art.
yeah, yeah. It gets to you on this like supernatural level,
Yes,
it
sir.
goes straight to your subconscious.
Right, right, right.
Yeah,
To the
yeah,
soul, to the mind, to the intellect,
yeah,
and in
yeah.
some way, and I think that's what great art does. You can take. I saw this survey, this study where they took great masterpieces. Say, for example, a Van Gogh and a contemporary Van Gogh who was not a master, a Leonardo da
Hmm.
Vinci and a contemporary of Leonardo da Vinci, not a master. They took
Hmm.
that work and showed it to some people in Papua New Guinea who knew nothing about Western art or Western civilization, and they asked them which one is the better picture, and they always picked the masterpiece.
Huh. Interesting. All right, I want to
People,
see
so
that.
they had no societal bias by what's a Picasso or Leonardo da Vinci or Van Gogh. They said,
Right.
what's better, this or this or that? And they
Uh-huh.
always picked the masterpiece, even though it was a contemporary of the person who
Yeah.
painted in the same style, but
Okay.
but
Okay.
not as well.
Hmm.
So think about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Think about it. It wasn't so much just purely what these people were taught to think, but how they were really feeling and connecting with the art.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what I try to do with everything I produce.
Okay. And look, we're exactly. We're these artists. We know that we got pieces at the masterpiece level. We're just trying to get it out there, let people know, build the
That's
audience,
right. That's
bless
right.
the people, and being involved with this great dialogue. And let's cue up your warm. What's it called?
Warm sounds.
Yeah, warm
Warm
sound.
sounds.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
that's one of the remaining pieces from my jazz series. I've been painting jazz for since 1995.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the remaining canvases. I have only 3 canvases left from that series. This piece retails around $2,000. We got a starting bid of about $1,200,
Right.
and a good percentage will go to Bump, help you out, and help the communities that you reach out to. And so this is a 30 by 40-inch canvas, acrylic painting on canvas.
Wow. So it's almost 4 feet tall.
It's 40 inches, yes, sir. 40
Yeah,
by 30. So it's a nice size piece,
that is.
perfect for a mantle or any place in your house, your music room,
Mm-hmm.
wherever you want to vibe to it, man. I mean, in these works, I try to create a certain synesthesia where the colors translate the sound and sound translates the color. And so when you look at this piece, you're able to transport into the piece and hear music.
Yeah.
I'm trying to paint the invisible. You can't see music. So I'm painting
Right.
the sound in these pieces.
Right. Right. And get that feel, that vibe.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nice. Nice. Let's see. Let's go to Be Ready next. And
Okay. Be
yeah.
Ready is I think it's 10 by 13 inch. It's, as you can see at the bottom, is number 16 out of 26. I did 26 prints of this image, and I painted on the few of them with acrylic paint. So this is embellished print.
Okay.
It is an original work that not an original, it's a print that excuse me, got a bug in the way. Bug flew in here. Uh, it's an embellished print that I have, a print that I've embellished, excuse me, it's a print I've embellished with acrylic paint. And so when you see the marks and whatnot there on the surface, that's actual paint. And
Okay.
I signed it as well. And you'll see the edition number, and I signed it on the back also.
Okay. Okay. Great. All
So it's
right.
the next best thing to having an original, because I've actually painted on the print.
Right, right. And let's see.
It's got a modest price too.
Definitely. Yeah, yeah. So like, you know, if somebody who's like an early collector in getting their art, you know, the nice thing about a print is that you still get this beautiful work of art.
Yes, sir.
You can pay a lower price, and you get it framed and everything. You have it up in your house, and then maybe, you know, 5 years down the road, you've gotten a raise at your job, or your number in, and you know, you got some money, and you're like, let me go back and hit up brother Eric McCray.
There you go.
Get that original now. You know.
There you go. Yeah, and I've sold a lot of. I've been a full-time working artist for over 21 years, and I've sold thousands of pieces of work, from prints to originals. Yeah. And I've supported myself as an artist for over 20 years. And I find that one of my main objectives was to make art accessible and make it where everyone could enjoy art regardless of their socioeconomic status. I've got a range, and most people can afford art. They tell themselves they can't. It's just they have to prioritize what's most important to them.
Right, right. Okay, and while we're pulling up our next one, that's a good segue to reminding people. Can we go to jam session next? Want to remind people that, you know, especially for like warm, what's it called? Warm vibes?
Warm sounds.
Warm sounds. Okay, okay. Warm sounds, you know, at that higher price there, we are going to allow people to break up the price into payments. So if you need to, at that price, if you needed to break it up into 3 payments or something like that, or over 3 months, you know, however it worked out for your payday, we'll put all of that into the auction, explaining how that works. But don't let that be something that's going to keep you from getting a piece. If you move to get these and you need to get one of those higher price ones, you know, we could work it out with your budget, you know, and yeah, just let us know, put those bids in. All right, so
there you go.
right. Jam
Jam session is a print. It's 18 by 24 inches. It's a standard size, easy enough to frame, matte and frame without you having to break the bank. You can actually go to, you know, an outlet like Target, or go on Amazon and buy something online, or go in the store and pick up something, because it's standard size, and it makes it easy for you to. And so when you place that in a frame, you got a sizable piece to cover a good amount of real estate on your wall, and a starting bid of $33. The retail price of this is $50. So you're able to get a lot for your money, and it's signed, hand signed by me on the front as well as the back.
Okay, excellent.
It's on quality paper, sturdy quality paper.
Okay, that's excellent. All right. How about Harmony next?
Okay, Harmony is a offset lithograph, is an edition of only 500 prints. Sold a good amount of the edition. It's a print I released many years ago. Matter of fact, in the 1990s. And I had put the edition away for a while, and I re-released it now that I have this really top-notch savvy website. And now I've been selling them pretty steadily once again. And the original of that piece hangs in my daughter's bedroom. It's not for sale. But this print's available for $33. It's signed. And you'll see the edition number when you receive the print. It was only 500 of these prints. So, you know, you'll see the edition number to let you know which number this was in the edition. Okay. And at that time I was doing a lot of kind of genre scenes about African American culture. So in here was really about the before I have a son and a daughter, and just showing, you know, the a more I guess cultured and enlightened family that is embraced music and dance. African American families embrace music and dance.
Yeah.
So, you know, you don't see too many images of black ballerinas.
Yeah. Maybe that'll change soon. Because it's definitely, there's so much going on right now where we're making headway in arenas that you know, we were kept out of for so long, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. The hiplet ballerinas coming out of the ballet studio in Chicago, I believe, and then that's catching fire. Like once everybody sees it, they're like, "Whoa, we got to do that."
Yes.
Misty Copeland is, you know, making big waves in the world of ballet. So yeah. Look at you. You were like 20 years ahead. Maybe
Yeah,
you were like,
I did this piece in early '90s.
Yeah. You were trailblazing. That's what you did.
Yeah.
Like young Misty Copeland saw this, I'm sure.
Maybe so, but you know, when I created this work, it was you know, the original was a pastel on paper, and I had lots of odd looks. You know, at that time everybody was painting sisters as rump shakers and all this kind of nonsense. You know, and you know, somewhat condescending images of African American women, and I wanted to have something that was very cultured, sophisticated. And you know, so here's this young sister, and she's preparing for the dance.
Excellent.
And so, you know, as well as a young man back there, and he's sharply dressed, and he's got sheet music, and he's performing.
There you go. Okay. Cool. All right. And then I feel like that kind of takes us to At the Fountain.
Oh wow, yeah. At the Fountain was commissioned by the Black Alumni Association of UNC Chapel Hill. I created that piece for the alumni. Originally, it was a watercolor. We made it into offset lithograph. It was many of them were purchased by the Alumni Association and given to their members over the years at UNC Chapel Hill. Matter of fact, I had the opportunity to present these prints to the first African Americans to graduate from UNC Chapel Hill. This was over 50-something years ago. And I got a chance to meet some of these pioneers, these trailblazers, who obviously weren't welcome on campus in that day. And so UNC had them back. And during that time, I had a chance to meet Dean Smith, Stuart Scott, Mama Dip. So Mama Dip, Dean Scott, Stuart Scott, and Dean Smith. Dean Smith, excuse me. Are all gone over to the other side now. So yeah, they all passed on since then. And so this print commemorated, you know, African Americans on campus. And you have this, you know, I guess maybe the same characters from my other print, this young man, a young woman, a young lady, and they're drinking from the fountain.
Right. And that has like implications because, you know, some of the people in that generation that you mentioned were subject to, you know, the segregated water fountains and all that.
Exactly.
You know, here in this picture, you're showing that it's that next step of, you know, we're at this university and here you are getting the children ready for that next step in their life, planting that seed in their mind of, you know, you might be a student here one day.
Exactly. And, you know, these pieces aren't what you call overtly political, but they definitely have political impact. And then, societal, they have social statement. And, but yet at the same time, they're of a nature that you can live with them every day and enjoy them in your workspace, in your professional workspace. So I've had many collectors of this piece who are UNC alums. They hang on in their home and in their work offices.
Yes.
And boldly said, I graduated from UNC Chapel Hill.
Right. and people who go there are really interested in that too. They have like real high levels of college pride, whereas, you know, that not every school has that, right?
Well, here's the funny thing. I'm from Washington, D.C., and I had a lot of Washingtonians who knew nothing about UNC Chapel Hill to buy this print because there's so many columns in Washington, D.C. They like the columns.
Right. There you go. You got the crossover crowd there.
Yeah. So the North Carolinians and the Washingtonians were buying this piece up like crazy, you know. And so it's a very popular piece. So it's available at $33 a starting bid. So it's well worth the investment.
Excellent. Okay, and then I feel like did we look at Jam Session yet?
Yeah, that was the jazz piece. Yes, we did. We looked at
So,
jam session. You says, are we missing?
Sunday. We haven't talked about
Sunday.
Sunday yet. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember which one. Okay.
Yes. Sunday is starting bid of $40. This is 18 by 24 inch
Okay.
print on some quality paper. Is signed and numbered. So I only did 50 of these prints. It's a very small edition. Some
Okay.
others had edition of 500. This only has edition of 50, and a good number of them already sold. On this as well, you'll see where I signed the piece on the front with the edition number as well. On the back, also in the year.
Okay.
It is based from a mixed media collage piece I created. And this piece called Sunday. I grew up in Washington, D.C., and this has elements of D.C. and Raleigh, Durham. But it's kind of the idea of the family, the Sunday ritual of a church attendance or the community. And you see those ladies sitting on the porch there and folks up in the window, and American flag. And you'll see the upper left, there's a gentleman looking out the window. He's represented by African mask.
Oh yeah.
So it's all connected.
I can't see it right now because of the other thing, but if people go to the bit.ly/bump auction, you can take a closer look at it. And I might even, because I'm like uploading everything on there, I might be able, give me like, a day or so, and I'll be able to get some details in there as well, some detailed shots to add to it. But yeah, that's a rich piece, a lot going on in there in terms of like where your eye can go and get ideas. One thing, as a collector of art myself, and appreciating other people's work, I always appreciate stuff that's like really rich in terms of being able to see something new every time you look at it, and you can get a piece like this, and I'm sure 10 years from now, you'll be looking at it on your wall going, whoa, I never really looked at that piece of this picture, and it'll hit you in a different way just for some reason, but it's really nice living with some art and appreciating and getting to know it. And sometimes I feel like the patron actually gets to appreciate the art more than the artist sometimes, because
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As an artist, sometimes people tell me stuff that they see in my work, and then I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't even realize that it was. Oh,
I have folks dig these. I have people dissect these pieces, and they go in and they tell me all the narratives and the stories they see in the work. And as you look closer, if you get the actual print, you see all these different windows, and inside the windows, you see little narratives of people engaging each other inside of their domiciles. So it's my intention was for you to experience this family in the foreground. This family of five wait a minute, 1, 2, they got 4 children. So they have a family with 4 children. And then you go through their community, and then through their neighborhood, and then through their homes, and then back off into the distance across the cityscape. So it's about a whole exploration of the urban experience. And, I guess for these folks, they're probably middle class, upper middle class people.
Maybe, right? Maybe they're, or maybe they got on their Sunday best and they've worked really hard to get it,
Yeah, you never know. And that's the thing about it, it's this whole journey. And then with the balloons can represent, certain kind of optimism or hope. I mean, so there's so much going on here, and so many metaphors. And I like my work to have that kind of, I guess that kind of was it J.J. Abrams called it the mystery box.
Oh,
where you don't,
okay.
Yeah, you kind of open, you don't really fully know all that's going to be in there. You get this mystery box.
Okay.
And then it's now your job to go exploring the work, and it can satisfy you for years.
Right, exactly. I know whenever I buy art, I kind of have the thing of like, okay, I got to make sure that I'm affording it, and but then once you get it, it's always, and people tell me this, all the time too, about them buying my work and all. They're like, it was such a good investment,
I love that. That's good.
Yeah. So think of it as an investment in your home and the cultural sensibilities of just
Mm-hmm.
yourself, your
Yes.
family, you know, people who come and like look at the work, and you know, you may be blessing somebody who's just coming over to your house to play bridge with you, or your poker buddies, or
Right,
you
right.
know,
And
uh,
you know the thing
Thanksgiving.
about collecting work like this, it's not like you just went off and bought some hotel art, something
Mhm.
that was mass produced with no heart and no connection,
Thank you.
no real artist. Now, some of these works are reproductions, but you can connect it back to me, my legacy,
Right,
my experience as a working artist. But you know, when you find some of these things that people buy, they're mass produced in factories overseas.
right.
They're not even made by a person as much as a designer, and they pump them out by the millions or whatever,
Hmm.
and so they're disposable art for and so that's the stuff you'll find by the curbside eventually on trash day. And these are the kind of
Right,
pieces that you pass to your children and your grandchildren, because now you have an
right.
artist with a resume, a CV that gives it true value.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Mon- I would say investment value beyond the intrinsic value that you gain from enjoying the work.
Right, right, which is like immeasurable.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And so going back to like this one is and you've got different kinds of prints that are up in the auction. And
Yes,
so
sir.
those are definitely like in, you know, starting at $33 going up to $50 for your other print.
Yeah,
And
starting
then
bids.
yeah, and
And
so
that's not the regular retail price. If anybody's curious, the retail price is considerably more, not a huge amount more, but enough that that starting price is something for you to just come on and join in. And hopefully we get a good bidding war, because the objective for this, you know, you hope that someone out there gets something of value, but ultimately
yeah,
this objective is to uh, obtain funds for Bump. So
yeah,
if the $50 print goes for $500, is that a bad thing if you're doing it for charity? If you're doing it for a good cause, for a nonprofit to help the community? No, it's not. So
right.
as they said, bid first, bid often. It was how's that little saying? You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
don't be hesitant to get a bidding war going out there.
Yes, yes, I feel that, and if people could share, you know, this kind of stuff on your social media,
Hmm.
this whole conversation is going to go actually directly onto Bump's YouTube as soon as it's over, because we're not playing any music this time. Facebook's not going to be muting us, which sometimes happens on some of our other shows where we're talking about music and everything,
Yeah.
and we're playing the music. And so, you know, you guys can go on there as the audience and share this on your Facebook or your YouTube. We're actually going to go back in addition, because that's the cool thing about StreamYard, which is the platform that we're on here, is that we're going to go back and chop up the little segments into bite-sized chunks for people to be able to
Excellent.
share those as well. So, you
That's a
know,
good idea.
yeah, help us. I was going to do a video. I probably still will, but you know, the reality is that Black-led nonprofits are few and far between. You know,
Hmm.
just being real with everybody. And I hope Joy can get on in a little bit and talk about it too. But I think I can speak to this some, just seeing the process and knowing other people like William from Village of Wisdom, you know, talking about, you know, his experience. And the fact is, and you can look at studies around this, is that Black-led nonprofits don't get the kind of grant funding that other nonprofits get, you
Mm,
know, and it's like we're the bottom, you know, and it's
mm.
unfortunate, but you know, I mean, there's a lot of stuff from society that has led to this. It's not something that people talk about a lot because, you know, I think sometimes people feel like they're going to scare people away mentioning this, but it's the truth. And the
Mm.
other reality is that, you know, you can look at studies around this, is that Black people in America, due to the legacy of what's happened in this country, we are what did they say? 167 years financially behind our white counterparts.
Wow.
And I can see that reality, like even in, families that I know, right? And so like Black people don't have the kind of wealth to be able to sit back and like wait for the next job. The rule in the Black community is you don't quit your job until you have the next job. And people might say,
and your side hustle.
Right, and your side hustle, right? Yeah. And there are probably I know a lot of white working class families that have probably that same motto. But when you look at our people as a whole, right, there's this disparity, and so that affects the nonprofit. So we're trying to build. And I'm not even officially part of Bump, but I'm just, I'm a cheerleader for my wife. But we're building. So these art pieces that you're going to bid on for the audience is helping you, and it's helping us to be able to provide programming and to be able to keep the nonprofit from sinking.
Right.
And that's just the reality of Black life, is that we're always trying to keep from sinking. That's just where we are. I don't know a lot of people who are that far away from being homeless, unfortunately.
Wow.
We're trying to build, we're trying to make sure that we're not at that level, but the reality is something could happen, and so we need to build. We need to make sure that the nonprofit's not we're not losing it for any reason. Anyway,
well, I'm hoping that the pieces that I've donated for the prints, I think it's 5 prints and one large original, will give opportunity for a cross section of people to get involved, because most people will spend $5 a day at Starbucks. Oh, excuse me, probably close to 10.
Right.
They get like 2 pumps and a squiggle and all the stuff they throw in a drink at Starbucks. And my daughter and I go to Starbucks, so she'll drink $8-9 coffee.
Right.
It's definitely time for you to get a job. But the point is that your lifestyle. But the thing is that the things that are here are not so terribly expensive, that they're not approachable, and that the works that these different artists are providing are affordable, and the ones that are on a higher price point, they're still doable. It's just a matter of making a decision if that's something you really want, and whether you're going to make a commitment to it. So I had a lady tell me years ago, she said, and I think I embarrassed her. She an art exhibition, she said, "But Black people can't afford art." And she looked at me, and I looked at her, and I guess she was expecting me to agree with her. And I looked at all her gold, and I looked at all her diamonds, and I looked at all her leather and her fly shoes and everything she had on, and I'm sure she didn't drive up in a hoopty. And I looked at her and I said, "Well, we can afford what we value,
right?
And we spend our money on what we think is important." And then I looked her up and down, and she looked embarrassed, and she moved along because she used this blanket statement that was quite condescending of our people, because we are an economic powerhouse, and everyone knows it. That's why the commercials constantly targeting us, from everything from fast food to alcohol to cars and everything else in society. And so we do have a lot of money to spend. The question is, where do you spend it? Who are you building with your money? Are you empowering your family, your community, and other small businesses? And so, in nonprofits such as Bump. So that I would say to anyone out there who's listening and who will hear this video, make a decision. Ultimately, it's a decision.
Yep.
Do you buy your kid $200 pair of tennis shoes that they go in the closet with other pairs of $200 tennis shoes? Or do you buy something that has generational value and is an appreciating asset versus a depreciating asset? Okay, we buy a lot of things that the moment you drive it off the lot or the moment you take it home or you pull that tag off, you probably couldn't sell it online for a third of what you paid for it.
For cars and just anything, right?
Yeah. So just the junk that people buy. But when you talk about investing in art, it's one of those things that, especially if you're invested in an artist who has a resume and a history and a career path, that work will continue to grow up in value. So I say to collectors, folks out there, put your money in appreciating assets versus depreciating assets.
I hear that. Okay. So let me. I want to segue into now. I want to bring Joy on too. We can do it 3 people on the screen if you want to stay.
Sure. Sure. Hello, Joy. Hello.
Yeah. So I got some pieces in the auction as well. And
excellent.
So I'll show those. We can put them up on the screen. I have a few of them right here with me that I can kind of hold up and show. So let's see.
Which one do you want to start with?
How about the Roots or Represent? So
here's Roots.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Okay. Cool. And so this is I used several different printmaking mediums in this. I had this great professor in college, Remer Cadillo, who is just a legendary printmaker. And one of the things we learned was combining the different mediums. And so there's pieces of this that are silk screened. There's pieces that are lino cut. There's pieces that are stencil and like experimental type of a look to it, in terms of like I was experimenting with spray paint and stencil. So it's still printmaking in that regard, but just mixing it all together. And so this is called Roots. And what I was trying to get with in this series, and there's one more that I have in the auction as well that's in the same series, is looking at the African diasporic roots of hip hop, and then also the international flavor, because I did this back in early 2000s, and at that point, hip hop had already gone around the globe probably a couple of times, and but it was still kind of new for an American audience to hear hip hop from other countries and in other languages. Like an artist like MIA, who's from South Asian, descent, wouldn't have been able to get airtime in America back then, and so I wanted to be able to show that hip hop is international with African roots, and then it's got some Arabic writing in it as well. And
it's a lovely piece.
Thank you. And I'll put some close-ups of it too. Actually, hold on. Joy, if you could take that down, let me reach over real quick and grab the original print right here. Sorry, it's like just out of reach. Okay, so.
Oh wow.
There.
Nice.
And so there's gold ink in there that I used, which I know in some of your pieces, Eric, you were like there's the shimmy that you can only get in real life.
Yeah.
Like the play between the matte colors and the glossy colors. So there's a lot of that going on in this piece.
Yeah.
But when the light hits it in different ways, it's going to have like different feels, So like if you have this, you can kind of see it right there because I got.
Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, that looks good. Yeah, matte versus the gloss. Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah. I like playing with that a lot because I feel like it gives the work this feel that you can only get live, and appreciate live, with it being right there. Okay, so Joy, could you cue up? Actually, I'll show this one up close before you cue it up. But this is Represent. So in the same series, Okay, and then so this one has this guy breakdancing, right? And let me just bring it a little bit closer. People can kind of get a feel for it. It's got this symbol right here, kind of like worked into it there. And that's an Adinkra symbol. And then this one over here is also, and they, if you want to bring up the big one, Joy, to put on the screen, the digital one. Okay. So there's the Janyeme, which is an Adinkra symbol that means fear none but God, or that you shouldn't have anything in life that you are scared of other than God. And I always kind of feel like sometimes people can misinterpret that, because I think there's some different spiritual things around that as well. And I always take it as not fearing God in this way that is non-productive, but
He's talking about reverence.
Yeah, reverence. Yeah, exactly.
Like parental respect.
Yes. And
you feel your mama and daddy, but you're not terrified of your mama and daddy.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, so there's that piece in there. And then the other Adinkra symbol on the left side here is called a Koban, and that is actually based off of they call it like a war horn sometimes, but it's like a thing for speaking your truth and making sure you're speaking truth to power. And it's physically kind of, the symbol gets its look because it's kind of based off of the conch, which I know in Haiti, which is where, you know, part of my ancestry is from, when the Haitian Revolution started and the slaves were overthrowing the French, you know, to get slavery out of there. The conch was the symbol of calling everybody to arms and like, all right, we're going to be free. And so that was that symbol. So the Akoban is very similar, you know, in that meaning.
It's a beautiful piece.
Thank you. Okay, and then can we go to North Cac next? And I'll show the real one here. And then we can go to the digital. So look right here. Sometimes I have a hard time figuring out how to like do it. Now this one is a one color silk screen, but I drew this on my tablet, but I made the silk screen off of the drawing that I did on the tablet. So it's kind of multi-layered in that way. There is another version of it where I have red ink in there as well, but this one is the one color because I wanted to make sure that I had some that were more affordable, because it's, you know, less time for the artist to do a one color print as opposed to, you know, multicolors.
How many prints of that are in your edition?
You know what? In this one here, I left it open. I think I got to talk to you about getting better about my editions and everything, but I'm pretty sure that on the one color one, I was leaving it open because I didn't put anything right here, which is where is in printmaking prints, you usually put the numbering right there in the middle. And so I left that open. So, but yeah, good question. And so,
striking.
What's that?
It's very striking.
Thank you. And we actually, I'm in the teachers union here in Durham. And so this is like a logo that we use sometimes that I also designed, but then I wanted that to be kind of over this scene of people marching and speaking truth to power. And so this is my daughter, Asada, based off of a photo when we went to the march in Raleigh. And then this is my other daughter, Carmita. And so, you know, and of course me in the middle there, and then all the people, and I was
wondering who that handsome fellow was.
Well,
I kind of figured it out.
right. That's a family picture right there.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
in the background there, let me see, I guess it gets better light like that. In the background, I wanted to use perspective, but I also wanted to kind of pay homage to Haitian design, and so I didn't use the same Western sensibilities that I always tend to use. I tried to make it so that it had the feel of Haitian art, whereas instead of things going back into a distance, a lot of times in Haitian art, the distance is shown by going vertically with it. So I wanted, there's a little bit of that feel in there as well. Let's see here.
And
George,
what's the bid on that is starting bid $60?
yes, sir. Yeah.
That's
Oh no,
nice.
I'm sorry. That's the current bid. It was starting at 50, but it has gone up. So
Oh, very
great.
good, very good.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for the people bidding. Okay, and can we go to speak with the keys? All right, so this one, now this is it's in the cellophane still. Okay, so this is a digital print based off of digital art. And so it's more I don't know, different process, right? So, but you know, it's original art, but it's a digital painting, and it's printed onto mat board for this one. And then I have a couple other ones that are printed in other ways. But the other cool thing about it is that it comes with a built-in hanging system. And so you could put it in a frame if you wanted to, or you could just put it directly on the wall like this. Okay, and it's not as shiny as it looks inside of this cellophane wrapper thing. Joy, would you put that up? And I'll talk a little bit about it just real quick. It's a piece of if you've heard Parliament and Funkadelic, right? This is their keyboard player, Bernie Worrell. And when I started the piece, he was still alive, and we were kind of paying homage to him because it's like paying homage to this great master keyboard player. And he's actually visited Durham a lot for when he was alive, of course, for the Moog Fest and a couple of other festivals that we have here. And in the process of me working on it, he passed away. And so wow. I worked that into the piece here. Excuse me. The purple and gold that you see kind of coming off of his back. Right. I was trying to make it so that it was like, his spiritual ascendance to heaven or the next plane or, he's
transitioning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't work that in when I originally started. I wasn't even thinking about it, but I thought, you know what, let me show this, that he's transitioned to the ancestors now.
Wow.
So, if you look through, there's a couple of Easter eggs in there. He's sitting on, instead of a regular chair, it's the African stools for royalty. So those wood carved stools. So yeah, that's a digital print. And I hadn't made an edition number yet because honestly, I had only, sold. I don't know if I've sold one of these yet, actually, now that I think about it. But maybe whoever's bidding could be the first one.
And what's the starting bid on that one? 80? Or has it already gone up?
No, that's the starting bid is 80. And yeah, normally I retail these for about twice that.
Okay, that's a good deal then.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's go to what's this one called? Zoo Crew Brother Number 1. And so I'm friends with the keyboardist, and here, Joe, let me show this one first just so people can see the size. This is a digital print on aluminum. I could do it on other, what they call substrates as well, but I wanted to do this aluminum one because I feel like they're really sturdy. It also comes with its own hanging system. And this is the size of this one. So let me put that one over here. And then Joy, could you bring up the digital print? Or yeah, you know. So I'm friends with Alan, and he's the front man for Zoo Crew, which is a contemporary jazz band based out of Durham here, and they've been touring the world a little bit in the last couple of years. And so he came over to my house, and we did a little photo shoot. And so we kind of collaborated on this one a little bit. We were talking about like the power, the healing power of music. Yes. And you know, try to like get that into this. And we talked about being superheroes. And so he was a fan of Japanese manga and the cartoons and everything. And so his outfit is based off of one of the Japanese manga characters. And then his shoes were based off of the Back to the Future shoes that Marty
McFly had on. Yeah.
And
so
then
it's got a lot of pop culture references. It's got manga, and he looks like Parliament and P-Funk kind of style that
right.
That theatrical, larger than life attire they had on.
Yeah, and he's
like glam rock.
Right. He's got really long locks as well, and he'll wear them on top of his head in a globe like that. And so I was like, man, I got to work with that. And so I made it so like it's like there was energy coming out of his locks, Yeah, but he really wears his locks like that.
Wow.
Yup. So just like this energy, and then trying to show him like landing, and it's like his music is the light, and it's casting out the darkness, and you could like look at that in a lot of different ways, but maybe they're evil spirits leaving, or he's creating these blessings and lighting everything up, but just trying to show that power and being kind of sci-fi with it.
Yeah, I can feel the impact of him landing, like lightning coming off his feet as he hits the ground.
Okay,
like he's the Flash or something.
Right.
That's tight.
We're artist superheroes.
There you go. That's my superpower.
Right, exactly.
Creativity is my superpower.
Yes. And it was cool collaborating on it. All right, cool. So let me kind of keep it in that same vein there. I got another piece here. It's a sculpture actually. I made it.
Wow.
It's called Bluegrass Brown Earth, and I'll show it to you. It's heavy though. So when you bid on this, I think this one more so than the others. And I'll put this on the thing as well, but we're gonna have, as the buyer, you got to pay for the shipping. So it's going to be cheaper if somebody local buys this, but I'll ship it anywhere.
There you go.
It's just that this one's going to probably cost, I'd say at least $80 to ship. So keep that in mind as you're thinking about it, but don't let that stop you too. So this one's called
UPS will take good care of it.
That's right. Yeah. They'll insure that joint and everything.
Oh yeah. I ship my share of stuff at UPS.
Okay. Cool. So this is the middle circle that you see is a bronze sculpture that I cast over at this place in Durham called Liberty Arts, and they have a forge here. And so I created the sculpture out of this clay, and then we make a cast of it. And then once you have the cast made, then you pour the molten bronze into it and you let it dry. And then this is a one of a kind. It's not the kind of cast where you can make multiples off of it. There's only one of these. And I was inspired by Baba Chuck Davis. He had this great dance piece that he did that was just epic, and I wish that it had been done more than once. But he, did this epic piece called Bluegrass Brown Earth, tracing the African roots of bluegrass music. And in the Sankofa bird that you see in the middle here is holding the banjo, which is, the American version of the instrument, and the African version of it is called an akanting. And so you see the Sankofa bird holding in her hands, one in each of its claws. And so here, Joy, let me switch to the actual piece right here.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so you can kind of.
That's gorgeous.
Thank you. And I've been wanting to get back over to that studio to do more of these sculptures, but as a full-time teacher, I don't always have time to go and do that, because I've got to be at home working on my stuff. So it can be a challenge. Like my studio's at home, but I'm only 7 years away from retirement.
There you go.
Maybe I can work it out where I can get over there a little bit more now that most of the kids are older. But it's a bronze cast, and you can hang it with or without this part. Like sometimes we'll have it hanging in the house with this, and so this is it's like an additional piece that's you can use to hang it, and it's got this thing in the middle that it can hang from, and on the back of it, it's got a very strong wire that's in there, and I've had this hanging for years. Or you can hang it. Maybe you like it better hanging on the wall with just this, and then check this out on the back of it.
Oh, wow.
This also has its own hanging system. So you can go either way with how you want to display it in your house. So I'm going to put that.
That's a gorgeous piece.
Thank you.
And $800 for a bronze is very reasonable.
That's what I was thinking. I hope I'm not kicking.
I have a friend who cast a couple of pieces at the same studio. And he was talking about how laborious the process is to create a bronze, just the material costs alone. Right. So it's so much of the initial investment beyond the time is the materials. So when you're right. collecting a piece like that, and you see that the artist has not just thrown this together, it didn't just happen overnight. And so in the hierarchy of sculpture, bronzes are toward the top. You get your bronzes and your marbles, and then you get the wood sculpture, and then ceramics, and it goes down this hierarchy. And so when you're investing in bronzes, you're talking about top of the line.
Yeah. I mean, you could drop, and I love ceramics, but that is one of the problems with it. You could drop that joint and it's gone. It's broken into a million pieces.
Yeah, that's right.
This piece is more likely to break what you drop it on.
Yeah.
It's not going to break.
It's like Captain America's shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easily damaged.
Yeah. Maybe I can get in and make some vibranium sculptures soon.
There you go.
We'll see.
Straight out of Wakanda. Wakanda.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, and then let me see. I'm trying to remember what I still have that I haven't shown yet. I don't have it right here. It's in the studio, which is like a ways away. So I'll show the digital of this. This is a piece called That Horn Man, and it is about this wide and this tall. It won a contest for the 2016 Art of Cool Jazz Festival.
Oh, wow.
And so the Art of Cool has been selling the posters of these as well. So I hadn't sold the original yet though, and $700 is a really good price for this, because actually I had it. My retail on this was $1,200.
So $700 starting bid for the original.
Yes, that's the
Oh,
original.
very good. Very
Yeah.
good.
Not a print. And so, you know, I had a lot of fun with this piece. Just kind of channeling that idea of cool, you know, and showing this cool brother who's a trumpet player. And to me, when I think of the band, I mean, all the band members are cool, but there's just something about the trumpet player
Yeah.
that is trumpet and sax, I would say, you know, that they just have this cool about them a lot of times.
Yes.
You know, and so I wanted to capture that here in this particular piece. And I try to have, I like dynamic perspective. And so I like to have stuff kind of coming at the viewer. And so this horn is coming at you.
Very powerful foreshortening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
it just kind of just pulls you right. It's kind of is vortex into the instrument and back.
Yeah.
Kind of like you're almost looking inside of him as well.
Ooh, I didn't even thought about that. See?
Yeah, see what I mean? I mean, you know, it's not just, it's like a portal. It's a portal.
Yeah. Think about that with our art. You know, it's definitely a portal, whether we're musicians or visual artists, right?
Definitely
Yeah,
you see it
man.
in that piece.
Okay.
You
Now,
definitely see it in that piece.
Yeah, and if you go to the auction page at the Bit.ly bump auction, I did put a detail in there, but I can put some even closer ones. But I was having fun with the texture on this as well, and just there's a little bit of like a spray paint in the background that I did in order to get that kind of misty feel of like having it be kind of smoky.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, just using that spray paint, or, you know, some artists will use an airbrush to create that effect, which is basically the same as spray paint.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. And I think there's only one more piece that I have. Let's see. Yeah. So and this is a piece that I was working on just Friday with Anthony. We were both painting live, and I hadn't decided on the title at that point, but at this point I think I have. And so it's all along the watchtower, although I left the all off, and it's off of the Jimi Hendrix song. It's acrylic on canvas, and it's about 3 feet wide, and it's almost 3 feet tall. It's like a little over 2.5 feet tall. It's, as you see here, it's not done yet, but you can kind of get a sense of like the direction. And what I wanted to show was like Jimi Hendrix pulling us through time. And Jimi Hendrix was a soldier. He was in the Vietnam War. He was airborne. I don't know if he was an airborne ranger, but he was airborne, and he would, you know, jump out of airplanes with the parachute on his back and land. And, you know, there's this poet, Sekou Sundiata, who talked about how, you know, you got to have a certain charisma and fearlessness to be able to do that. And then him coming back home and really getting into his music once he was out of the service, and just still speaking to what was going on at the time. He has this very powerful song called Machine Gun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so as a young person, and I was listening to Jimi Hendrix, you know, when I was in high school. Of course, he had been dead by then, but he, you know, he got me thinking about a lot of things with that song, and a lot of his songs. But he talks about the machine guns ripping down his friends, and for what, you know. And you see in the bottom there, I haven't filled them out yet, but it's these soldiers, Vietnam soldiers from the Vietnam War. They've got this sign that says, "We won't fight another rich man's war." And then behind them is going to be a he's already filled out there, but his sign's not filled in, kind of like directly under Jimmy's right hand, which is the hand on the left, is going to be a Civil War soldier.
Oh, wow.
A black Civil War soldier from the Union, with a sign, which right after the Civil War, that's when the lynchings started, right? Or I guess you shouldn't say started, but that's when it really ramped up, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the things that black activists back then used to do was they would hang a sign out of windows that said a man was lynched today, to draw attention to that cause and trying to make it illegal to lynch people, right? Which seems like something that you shouldn't have to fight for. That's
Yeah, exactly.
given, right? Yeah.
Like
And
kind of
so-
a no-brainer, you would think.
Right. So that's probably the oldest cause that'll be on there. But then, like, there's the civil rights era, I am a man sign,
Mm-hmm.
and then the I can't breathe T-shirts,
Right.
and it says the sign up top, it says demilitarize the police.
Yeah.
Which I know not everybody might agree with. I mean, there's debates among activists, around, like, what do we mean when we're talking about this stuff around the police in this time where, so much police brutality is being caught on tape and shown, and, of course, we're mad about it and we want it to stop, and we're worried about our sons and we're worried about our daughters, and honestly, we're worried about ourselves as well. But I felt like that was a really good one in terms of, like, there's all this money that goes into making the police into a military force, which was never the purpose of the police, not turning them into soldiers. Soldiers have a different purpose than police.
Yeah.
And so I felt like that was a piece that people could get around that one.
So this piece is basically a timeline of American protest signage, or at least pertaining to African American struggle.
Yes, very much so. That's what I was trying to have come across. Yeah.
So he is the I guess the herald that's bringing us through this experience and going through these different eras of protests.
The bard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing that when it's done. So this piece is available, and that you can bid on it, and at the time of if you own it, you will complete the work and present it to them. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Well, you need to post some update pictures as you get further through the process.
Yes. I was thinking about that. That's a good point.
So the auction is going to run from now until which specific date we're looking at?
Well, we had it originally listed as July 1st, but we're going to go through, Joy, could you take that down? We're going to go through July 7th, because we want to give people a little bit more time to get it out there and everything. And so maybe people can share this stuff and get more. Maybe if you, as a fan of Bump and our work, whether me or Eric or Steven's people or Allison's, Anthony's people can help us get it out there to people, or Asada's people as well. That will help us. Like, even if you don't feel like, you can swing it right now, maybe you could help us find somebody who would be interested.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, as I personally am going to take each of my pieces and share them through social media, Facebook and Instagram. Mainly Instagram, and with a hyperlink back to the page where they can bid.
Okay. Yeah.
So that would be definitely beneficial that every artist took the time to share their pieces, and if they choose others as well, to their circle, and you'll be amazed how those things kind of move through the pipeline of social media.
Yes, like the new word of mouth.
There is one piece that you didn't mention, and I don't, we don't have to talk about it a long time, but it just happens to be one of my favorites. So
What did I
I'm
forget?
just going to flash it.
Okay.
You forgot the Queen.
Oh wow!
Yes. You're right.
Return of
Yeah. This is, a tribute to Rhapsody, North Carolina born and raised rapper who's really out there and just so not only prolific, but deep. She's one of these artists who every time I hear the album that I was listening to when I created this, which was Layla's Wisdom, it was based off of her grandma's wisdom. I hear something new, and so I wanted to capture that in this piece. So yes, thank you, Joy. Yeah, this is the Queen of Flow.
That's a striking piece.
Thank you.
Tell them the artist that it was also in, the hip hop artist it was inspired from.
Right. That story. Okay, so back in the 90s, Hennessy, I believe, had a photo shoot with one of the legendary rappers of that time, which was Rakim from Eric B. and Rakim. And there was this iconic photo, but it was for, the Hennessy ad where Rakim was holding the microphone in this very pose that she's got right here. And I wanted to use that as a reference. So like a pop culture reference, right? But also show the torch being passed to the next generation. And I felt it was important to pass it from a male rapper to a female rapper, because to me, she's one of the top 5. Like if you asked me for my top 5 rappers or musicians, I put Rhapsody in there. And not even that, I don't say, she's one of my favorite female rappers. She's one of my favorite artists,
Wow.
And so I wanted to show that. And I actually got to meet her. I wonder if I should put that up on the thing as well, but I got to meet her and give her a copy of this. And so she was really excited about it. And she says she's going to hang it in her studio. I'd love to see a picture of that one day. Like what does her studio look like too? But I was happy that she appreciated it.
It's a beautiful piece. Beautiful piece.
Thank you. Hey, Eric, I forgot to ask you what do you have coming up? I know you've got this move happening.
Oh yeah, I've been at Art Space in downtown Raleigh. I've had a working open studio there for 21 years. I moved in there January of 1999.
Okay.
And I've been yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. And so the time has come for me to go. And I'm moving starting Saturday I will start officially moving my belongings out.
Okay.
By the end of the month. And currently I'm currently a member of a new group we founded called the City Market Artist Collective. It's in City Market in downtown Raleigh at 300 Blake Street. And so I'll have an exhibition space there, and then I'll move my working studio to a undisclosed location, which I kind of referred to as my fortress of solitude.
Right.
And then I'm going to be figuring out what my next great body of work is. I told a friend of mine I'd been working in this one studio for so long that I thought if I left there, I might lose my superpowers.
I know how that feels.
So that's the big deal with me right now. Really excited about that and have a lot of irons in the fire. So I'll keep you updated on social media.
Excellent. Hey, and we'll hopefully, we'll be able to do another one of these, maybe a quicker version of it, towards the end of the auction. I don't know if you're still down for that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Sure. Let me know.
Okay.
And we can chit chat online about whatever the topic of the day is, or whatever, about the auction, about the works in particular.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I would love to get a snippet of these different this video this time that I'm on
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'd share that on my social media and
Okay.
post everything and just drive some traffic your way. And
Okay.
I think I'm a big supporter of music and definitely of the arts in general.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's all interconnected. We're all vibing and giving each other ideas and getting
Yes,
ideas.
sir.
Yeah. Hey,
Yes,
I noticed.
sir.
On behalf of Bump the Triangle, I would just like to thank you, Eric, and all of the other artists who were on before you, and Malcolm. I would thank you so much for the beautiful work. I'm very excited about all of the pieces. I want to just let everyone know that you go to bit.ly/bump auction, and you can place your bids from now through July 7th. And it's very easy to do. Once you get in there, it drives you right to where you need to go. All of the art is there for you to view. And then I want to mention that if you want to know more about Bump the Triangle, you can just go to our website, bumpthetriangle.org, and there's a space there where you can subscribe to our mailing lists to see what's going on. We're going to be putting out a lot of information very soon about our programming post-COVID-19. So a lot of information getting ready to roll out. We are not slowing down because our children, our communities need this music. We need Bump's mission and the vision that we have in the community. And that is why we are here. So I really appreciate the artists. And you can support by going to the auction and checking out our website. And of course, liking us and following us on social media.
And sharing.
And
sharing.
Share it.
Yeah.
Hit that share button.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you for
This was
having
a
me.
lot of fun, and I learned a lot about the work. So
Yeah, I wish I had enough.
I'm honored to be able to this, and I like this format where you really discuss the works and personalize it for the collectors.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you. Everybody be safe.
All righty, take care.
Back in touch soon.
And we'll chat soon enough.
Definitely.
Oh, who's that cutie right there?
bye.
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 All right. See you, everybody.
All right.
All right, take care.
You too.